Alright, people, I'm back. This is going to be on my primary channel and my reserve channel. This video is going to be called Sex Game. The animes and video games that could be made into movies, television, remakes, and I'll break them down. It's not going to be a big giant list like part 1 and part 2 and part 3. This should be somewhat of a 10 to 15, maybe 20-minute video. It depends how much material I can get out to you. If the video gets cut in half, don't be surprised or shocked. Alright. It doesn't matter if it's in order or not in order. I like to make the videos very fresh and very unpredictable, but very creative. Because sometimes when you go in order, it gets boring. But if you go out of order, it's more fun. I guess people watch the video better when you do that. Alright, so let's get to it. Mortal Kombat. Why this might be a better remake than the one we saw in the 1990s and 2000s. Now, I will always like the first Mortal Kombat film. You know, it was very well written, very well directed. Did this movie have its production problems? Yes, the first Mortal Kombat and the second Mortal Kombat films had their production problems. The first film was by far the best film. The second film doesn't even live up to the expectations of the first Mortal Kombat film. And, of course, they made the Mortal Kombat web series between 2007 to 2010, and it got 2 seasons, which was very good because it grabbed all our interest. Now, with the introduction of Mortal Kombat 12 or Mortal Kombat 13, the video game, it seems perfect timing that you now have to reboot the movie franchise. Traditional characters like Liu Kang, Jax, Sonya Blade, Raiden, Shang Tsung, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, Goro, Kano, those are all your original characters from the first film. And they said they were going to try to make the first movie just an origin story, and then the second film might actually introduce traditional characters. To me, this has good implications to jumpstart the video game industry. As you do know, a lot of people have been giving the video games a hard time. You know, God of War is going to be a movie pretty soon, thanks to Sony. And Warner Brothers have a property, Mortal Kombat. To me, I think this is the right approach you go with Mortal Kombat. You can give it 2 films, 3 films. I can see them make 2 to 3 movies. To me, if they go with just one movie remake and it's successful, then you can make a part 2 and then, of course, a 3. And then if you want to take characters like Scorpion and Sub-Zero and give them a spin-off, that would be interesting. You know, that will let us know if the audience even want to see a Scorpion Mortal Kombat spin-off movie. You know how Wolverine was a part of the X-Men and then they got a spin-off? You could do that with characters like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, if you wanted to. Or you could do that with traditional villains like Shao Kahn or Quan Chi. So Mortal Kombat would be nice. Next one on my list, Street Fighter. I do believe Street Fighter should be more of a television show than an actual movie reboot, because you have too many characters in Street Fighter and you would be trying to make like 6 movies like Harry Potter to explain every character's backstory in Street Fighter. Traditional characters like Ken and Ryu, you can put in a movie. Chun-Li, Guile, Charlie, better known as Barranca, Bison, Baru, Sagat, Vega, those are your traditional Street Fighter characters. You know, and the martial arts master Gogen, who taught Ryu and Ken martial arts for 10 years. The thing is, if you made that into 3 movies, you still would have to explain the fight between Ryu versus Arkema. So I could see you go the Vampire Originals route with that television show. Why? Because you would want younger actors. You would want to go younger with Ken and Ryu. You know, you see how Vampire Diaries got 8 seasons? You would probably want to go with a television approach with Street Fighter. And then if you're still going to make the movies, then you can kind of age them, not too old, not too young, but you could do a before and after with the story of Street Fighter. Alright, that I explained Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Now, movies that should get sequels, but I have a feeling it might turn into television shows. Ghost in the Shell. I would like if they made a sequel to Ghost in the Shell. You know, Scarlett Johansson is coming back as the Black Widow, and if they don't make a Black Widow 2 or Black Widow 3 in that 5 year time gap between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War, which, and of course, let's not forget Avengers Endgame, there's like a 5 year time gap, you could make 3 Black Widow movies. If they don't do that, Scarlett Johansson could come back and do a Ghost in the Shell 2. It'd be nice if you jumpstart that franchise with 2 more films. If they don't, they can cast a younger actress to play her on television. You could put that on the Sci-Fi Network. You know how they made Terminator the series? Some of you might remember Terminator. Some of you don't even remember they made Terminator into a television series, but they did for 2 seasons. You could actually do that. You could make it futuristic in a futuristic timeline, like 50 or 60 years into the future, and you could have her in that timeline. You could actually make Ghost in the Shell into a television series if you put it on the Sci-Fi Network. Or you could do an online series on Netflix. People will watch Ghost in the Shell if you make it into a TV show, if it doesn't get a sequel or sequels. Another movie that deserves a sequel is Battle Angel. I liked the movie. I saw it last year. I am going to get the DVD of it. I like the actress who played the main character in Battle Angel. It got 3 animated movies, video games, comic books, um, and it had an animated series for 4 seasons. So in Japan, Battle Angel and Ghost in the Shell are by far their best properties that are futuristic. You could also turn this into a television show. I mean, I do believe it should get a part 2, but I don't know if that's going to take a long time. But if it doesn't get a sequel or sequels, that should also be made into a television show. So Ghost in the Shell, Battle Angel, you could make into television shows if they don't get future sequels. Mortal Kombat is the only one I could see being made, rebooted into a movie and a television show. Street Fighter should be strictly television. That's just me. Okay, moving on the list, I would probably say, what's the next anime that I didn't mention in part 1, 2, and 3? I think there's one called F.Tales. I think that would probably be like another Twilight. Like literally, you could turn that into another Twilight. It's a very popular anime. Let's see what else we could do in this video. So those are the video games and animes that should actually come back. Now, I probably will have to make a part 5 because I know I'm missing some animes. Fist of the North Star. There we go. That's another anime that I like. That can actually, right off the bat, can be remade. It only got 1 live action movie in 1995. You could reboot Fist of the North Star. And you could actually make that into like a Matrix. If you just look at the Matrix movies, you can take the special effects, the martial arts, you can make it futuristic, and the main character can kind of be like Neo, so you can do something with Fist of the North Star. That was an animated movie and an animated series, and if it wasn't for the Fist of North Star, you would have never got no Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken. You would never have got if it wasn't for Fist of North Star. You could actually take that concept where the guy's father was an undefeated martial arts champion for 10 years. The mob wants him to throw a fight. He doesn't do it. He loses his father. His mom, as a consequence, he loses his mother and father. He gets his girlfriend taken from him, and then he's forced to fight his 3 brothers. And then he discovers this one ancient fighting technique that makes him undefeated. You could play around with that story of the Fist of the North Star. That could be a movie or a television show. The next one is Afro Samurai. This one should have been mentioned in part 1, part 2, and part 3, and it wasn't. Afro Samurai is a huge popular anime in those late 2000s. It got 2 animated movies, comics, graphic novels, video games, posters, backpacks, trading cards, action figures. You could do a whole lot with the character of Afro Samurai. If Bosch Chasman does 3 Black Panther movies and they want to recast, you could get someone like Bo Chasman or Michael B. Jordan to play Afro Samurai. Like, with the technology we have, it's not that hard that you could now do an Afro Samurai movie. It's an anime, so yeah, Afro Samurai would be perfect for this. You know, now you could still get Samuel L. Jackson to come play as the imaginary character, and you could make it a cross between a martial arts movie meets a western. So you still could get that blend and flavor and taste in it. So that would be perfect. So those are the ones I see that can get remakes into movies, television shows, and more animes that could be made into movies or television shows. Like if you look at AMC's The Blade, right? That's a prime example. So if you didn't take Afro Samurai into a movie approach, you can make that into a television approach. You know, shows like The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, you could do something like that with Afro Samurai. So this is like the fourth video in that series. I still might come back and make a part 5 in the near future. Until then, peace.